Okay. Hello. Welcome to the Lost in Phoenix podcast. My name is Seamus McMahon, and today I am joined by Joshua Powers, as always. How you doing, bud?
Doing good, bro.
Awesome. So this one, we've already talked about something similar.
Weird.
On this episode. Yeah, we
Drugs.
talked about drugs a while ago. Maybe not a long time ago, but it was a while.
Yeah.
But this one is a little bit different because we're going to focus in on one, mainly the marijuana.
The marijuana?
The marijuana.
I saw a guy with a shirt that said the devil's lettuce today.
Oh, really?
The devil's lettuce?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about a couple different things, like our worst experience, our best experience.
Yeah. There's been some bad ones.
Yeah, because what is it? Like, contrary to popular belief, there are some bad parts.
Oh.
Sometimes.
Yes.
You know?
Especially with edibles.
Yeah. Never done that before.
Ooh. Yeah.
I've heard many a story about...
It can go either way, man. You just have to not eat too much.
Right.
If you eat too much, it's like...
Yeah. I had a chance to.
Yeah.
I went to a New Year's party with a friend of mine. His brother had made some pot brownies.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I was leaving, and his brother was like, well, if you eat one now, on the way to the other party you're going to, you'll be hitting it right when you get there.
Not advisable.
And I was like, I've always wanted to try it, but nah.
It's never good to do it before you're like interacting with other humans. It's
Right.
best to do it like there's a chance to maybe have some introspective thoughts about yourself because you get in your head deep.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good to me because that's what already happens and it's terrible.
Yeah.
But we're going to be talking about best experience, worst experience because they just brought into, what is it, House or the Senate?
I think it's the House, actually.
The House, okay. That they're looking to legalize on a federal level marijuana, which is very interesting. It's very good.
It's progress.
Is
what it is.
It's a lot of progress.
Yes.
Which I can't remember whether or not it's... No, it is legal here. It's not recreationally legal, but it's medically legal here in Florida, which is nice.
Which is surprising because we are in the South, even though Florida's kind of like its own country in a way.
It's 100% its own country. And like even the different parts, like you can keep going south and there's like, you hit Miami and it's a completely different place.
It's a different place, bro.
Yeah. You keep
that
going.
Might as well be Latin America down there.
Yeah. And then you keep going even more south down to the Keys and it's a completely different place.
Yeah.
You know? But like, is this a big deal? Do you think it's a big deal that it's going to be like across the board? I
think so. Because especially, you know, you can operate a recreational business or a medical business in the states where that's allowed.
Right.
But it's all cash. You don't have access to banking, which is terrible.
Right.
What if they should extend the same things to the alcohol industry that they do, or extend the same things to the marijuana industry that they do to the alcohol industry? It's only right that you would be allowed to use banking. It's crazy that you can't. You know, you have a big business like in Denver, for example, and you have to do it all in cash. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it seems a little weird.
Yeah, so from a business perspective, I think that's a really good thing. And also, it's just good for everybody. It's good. It's progress, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that we're talking about this now because the last time this trip that I recently went on for my friend's birthday, he has his medical card, like I mentioned, and I don't know exactly how long he's had it for, but he has it because he broke his back.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I think he broke his back. He said he broke his spine. But it happened like years ago. He got hit by a car on his bicycle heading to school, which was across the street. Like he lived in the development across the street from our high school. Oh, wow. And he was crossing to get across to where he could get to the school easily, and somebody just made a right turn too early and hit him.
Oh man, did you get an insurance settlement from that?
He got hella money.
Wow.
Like thousands of dollars.
Like hundreds of thousands, or
not hundreds of thousands. I think he got like 5,000.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. I mean,
that's still good though. So good.
It's pretty good for like a 16.
Pain and suffering.
Yeah, it's pretty good for a 17-year-old kid. You know, living at home with his mom in high school. Because he bought this VR headset.
How old is he now?
He just turned 21.
Oh man, does he still have any of that money?
No,
Yeah, I was gonna say that probably went like a year.
it went all away. He had to save a lot of it because he was going to college,
Okay.
but he spent a good portion of it.
Okay, so now you said that, does he still have problems with the back?
Yes,
After that,
which is why he now has the medical card, and he smokes all the time.
That's, well, I mean, even though it's not good that he smokes all the time,
Yeah.
it's certainly a better fate than taking opiates
Yeah.
or other
And
prescription
being in
drugs.
pain all the time.
Yeah.
It's insane. Because he was, I haven't seen him in about a year and a half, so he must have gotten the card in that time. But he was a lot better, like a lot calmer than he used to be.
That's good.
Like just a lot.
For some people,
better.
it really helps them a
Yeah.
lot. Like, it's really like a saving grace for,
Yeah.
not for me, but for a lot of people. Like, I have a buddy I play basketball with who was, he went overseas and he got blown up, his leg blown up by a IED in
no.
Afghanistan. And, he could easily, right, with his military benefits, he could very, very easily, be on the opiates
Right.
and doing all that if he wanted to, but he just smokes, and that's enough for him. And I think that's great. That's a great, that's going to really help if they can make it legal on a federal level and just make it legal everywhere. I think you're really going to see it put a little bit of a dent in the opioid crisis.
Oh, definitely.
It
I
really
mean,
is going to help. It's an alternative,
yeah,
a legitimate pain alternative.
right. Well, they've done studies showing that it performs way better than opiates in pain relief.
For sure. For sure.
So I don't know. I think
It's way more effective. I've done both. It's more effective, I
Yeah.
think. Opiates are just, it's a vicious cycle that you get on. It's like jumping on a really fast moving train that is going to lead to disaster if you continue to ride. I'm serious. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Weed is
It's
like
weird.
a slow moving train that could eventually lead to a disaster, but it's not as likely. The disaster is far off in the distance.
Yeah. You still have some kind of
Yeah.
say in what you're doing.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Do you think it's how would I phrase this? So when I went to see my friend, he just turned 21
Yes.
and he can legally buy alcohol now.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with him to the liquor store because he was like, I would like this certain drink that we had a couple years ago at a Halloween party. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can get that for you. And then I didn't get it on my way there. So I was like, oh, we have to go and get it. So we went to the liquor store, and as we were walking in, he was like, it used to be more fun just walking in when I was underage because now I know it doesn't matter because I can just show my ID.
Yeah.
All the fun's gone.
Yeah.
So do you think that a lot of people, like, that's their whole thing about like smoking weed is like, oh, it's illegal, and like, oh, we have to like contact people through text people and then go into this back alley. Do you think like there are people that are like, I don't want it to be legal because now the fun's going to be gone? Do you think that's a problem?
I mean, maybe a small faction, but I just think, I mean, that was the only experience that I personally have ever had with it. Like,
really?
I stopped smoking like pretty much like years actually before it became, recreationally legal and stuff. So it doesn't even affect me. But all my years of experience with it was in that context of the texting and meeting this guy here and all of that sketchy ass bullshit.
Right.
But to answer your question, I think a small population, a small minority might feel that way, but I
think like teenagers that affects them the most of like they feel good, like that spy shit,
Yeah.
They're like
there's a little bit of
going
intrigue
back
to
behind
it.
their parents' back and like, oh, I smoke weed, bro.
Yeah, but
You know?
there definitely is that. But also, I think it's going to stigmatize it less. I think it's going to make kids more likely to get off of it. It's good. I think that as a young man or woman, you should probably try it. You should probably try it, as much as you want to try it. Mm-hmm. But then you should eventually get off of it. It's not a good habit to hold into your adult life. It's gonna, it's fun, but it's eventually, if you smoke it all day, every day, it's gonna be bad for you.
Right. Yeah, I've heard many stories that.
I can tell you, I've had a lot of firsthand experience. It's gonna get bad if you continue to do it over time.
Right.
But if you just eventually grow out of it, it's a good experience to have had under your belt. It's good to, to experiment with different states of mind.
Right. Yeah. Oh, definitely. So like, you've been alive longer than I have.
Not much.
Not much, but I mean, couple years is a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what was your first experience?
My
Or
first.
what was maybe like your worst or something like that?
Oh, my worst.
Yeah. Maybe
Oh,
I think that's more interesting. Is like, what's your worst experience?
Oh man, fuck. It's just so deep in my history that it's hard to even like to think about it.
Right.
Oh my god.
When did you start?
The first time I ever smoked was in the summer. I was in 7th grade.
Really?
Yeah, super young.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a friend who his mom, she smoked, and she like had like 5 kids, and they all smoked with her. And I grew like I started smoking, and then I would go over there. My mom was very against it,
Right.
so I would go over to their house, and where it was like free and open, you know, like she would give it to us, and we'd all smoke together. So it was like a fucking free for all. From the time I was 12 years old, that was like
What?
my experience with it. Yeah.
No
So I had like
way.
a safe place where I could go, and it was like we would smoke. So yeah, that was.
That's mind blowing, but that's like the perfect environment.
It really is, yeah. So I
Jeez.
learned about like the culture and how to do it right from them, because there was a lot of like he had my friend had older brothers who were very experienced with it. So I learned the right ways to do it. I learned
Right.
the wrong ways to do it. So yeah, it was nice in that sense to. I mean, we still. When I wasn't with them, I was still like, going out and smoking and, getting caught by my mom smoking in the house when I thought she was gone, and having her come back and fucking like World War III started at the house.
Oh, God.
There was those are probably the worst times where like I would be like super, super high, feeling good. My mom would get home. I remember this one time I was smoking in my room, and I didn't have locks on the door. And my friend, he had a bong, and he threw the bong with smelly water under my bed, because
No
I was
way.
like, because she came in and she was like knocking, and I was holding the door, and I was like, get rid of it. It smelled so bad, and then she eventually got the door open. She knew that we were smoking. I had to
Right.
get my fucking friends. I put them out the window so they. And I swear to God, after that, my fucking bedroom smelled like bad bong water for like 6 months. I'm not
Really?
even kidding you. It was like that long. I couldn't smell
Jeez.
out.
That sucks.
So yeah, like I'd say my worst experiences were like probably that. But for the most part, like growing up, it was I was smoking in a safe environment at my friend's house.
Right.
And
Damn. That's
yeah,
awesome.
But yeah, that was yeah. So a lot of good times. How about you? What was the worst time?
The worst time was my first time.
The worst time was your first time.
Yeah.
Where were you?
No, wait. No, the worst time wasn't that time. I guess the first time was I was a senior in high school, and my sister was like, I got this joint from my friend. Do you want to smoke it? It's
Yes.
like, sure, why not? And I had like an apartment above, like back behind my parents' house and above it.
Yeah.
And she came up and lit it up, and we smoked it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I didn't get high like at all. I felt a little bit like
You smoked
different.
the whole thing?
No. I took
many
like
did you
2 or
take?
3 hits, and then she
Oh,
smoked
okay.
the rest of it.
But she had already done it before.
Yeah, she'd been doing it for a long time.
She's younger than you, right?
Yes, by 3 years. Yeah, so it's a little fucked up.
Your sister's on a different dude.
Yeah,
just
she's
talking to her for a couple
fucking
minutes, you can tell
weird.
she's beyond her years.
Yeah, it's not good. But yeah, that was weird. I think the worst time was me and my friends. It was 3 years ago, I think. And my friends came back from college, and one of the guys bought some stuff off of another friend that was called Shake, or it's called Shake, and it's like
just the cut down version.
yeah, pretty much. It's
Not
like
powder, but
they would take it, they take the bud and like cut it
Grind
off
it down, right?
yeah, it's like whatever's left at the bottom of the grinder.
Yeah.
That's what he would buy because it was super fucking cheap and he had
Yeah.
no money.
Yeah.
And we went and bought Black and Milds
Black and Milds, bro.
and cut them down the middle like you
Yes.
do, and
That's right.
took the tobacco out, and we were going to go to the beach. And then the girl that was with us was like, I don't want to go to the beach because if we get caught and we have weed in the car, like we get pulled over, they're going to want to search the car, and there's weed in the car. We're all going to get in trouble. That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So we went back to his development, and there was like a lake, in the middle of it with a forest basically around
that's
it.
cool.
And we walked into the forest in the pitch black. It's like
No, that's not good.
9
Sit down
o'clock
there
at night.
during the day.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock at night, and we walk in, and we've got like our phone flashlights on,
Yeah.
and we're trying to fill these black and milds up, and like
you gotta roll
tape
that shit
them back
inside,
together
bro.
and smoke it, and then like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I got nauseous. I
Yeah.
couldn't see straight. I got tunnel vision, and we were like, all right, I have to go. Can we please leave? This is not a good experience anymore.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get out because it was dark. And like I had to have the girl that we were with help me out.
Oh,
It's
no.
like, this is terrible. I think that was the last time I'd smoked until like this last couple days.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
smoked recently?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I went to my friend's house,
Oh,
since
yeah.
he has it,
Okay.
and that was good. That was probably the summer, like a couple of years ago, was the best. Other than that time,
Oh, shit.
yeah, because that was terrible. And then I was like fucking freaking out the rest of the night because like, I really like this girl. I hope she doesn't think I'm like weird for like almost greening out or whatever. And I was like,
Oh,
"Fuck,
no.
this sucks."
Yeah,
But
that's the worst.
It's whatever now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not good to be around girls when you're smoking that, dude.
No, it was terrible. I think
Yeah.
what did we end up doing? We ended up watching like Arrested Development.
You're sitting there all self-conscious. You're like, did she notice the way
Yeah.
I'm sitting right here?
It was weird.
Did you notice that I just moved my thigh?
Uh-huh.
That's the kind of thoughts you have on weed sometimes when you get paranoid, like self-conscious. You're like, did they just notice that I was having that thought? I think they did.
Yeah.
Did they notice my breath, that I took the breath? This sort of dumb thing. Yeah, weed is dumb in that way. And you kind of reminded me by talking about how you were rolling it in the dark, like just all the dumb times where, you know, when you don't have a safe environment to smoke it in, like all the dumb ideas that you bring to fruition. Like one thing that I used to, and the first time I ever got high, I think was we took like a soda can, like a Coke can,
Right, and you like
in half
crunched
and
it
you
up.
poke holes in it, and it's just really
Yeah.
so dumb. And you put it in there, and it just doesn't taste good.
Nope. It
It's
doesn't
so
work.
It's just so dumb.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could describe it. Like, so I don't know. Hopefully, weed becoming less of a stigma. There becoming less of a stigma around it will make it so when kids start or try it, it's not like, you know, the parents will just look at it like a kid trying alcohol.
Right.
You know, they're not gonna. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think
what I'm
there's
trying to
a new generation of parents out there that
say. Yeah, that's true.
that grew up with the same stories that you just told me, you
Yeah.
know, of like their parents getting mad at them, but it wasn't a big deal to them.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, well, I'm having fun.
Yes.
So
I'm trying this shit.
yeah, you know,
Let me fuck up.
yeah, exactly. You know, you want to be an adult to an extent when you're a kid.
Yeah, but
So it's-
definitely.
yeah.
You want your independence and your freedom, and weed is the perfect way to kind of dip your toes into that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, without like, I mean, you can get in a lot of trouble, but if you're at home,
Yeah,
then, you know,
exactly.
what are the cops going to do?
It's much better to do it in that environment, and
Right.
that's why I think that having my friend's household growing up was so critical.
Right.
Because like I said, when I wasn't there or when I wasn't hanging out with him, I was out there in public places doing it, being
Yeah.
out and about with it on me when I shouldn't have. Because,
Right.
you know, it wasn't like it is now. I was
Yeah.
fucking a young man and it was very illegal.
Yeah.
But, you know, having that place where I could go and I could spend the night on a Friday night and we could just sit and smoke and watch a movie or something, as opposed to if I was just at my house, I'd be like out and doing whatever. It should be kept in the household.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
You should give your kids weed.
Maybe not that.
Yeah,
not
I'm
yet.
just
but
but if you're a parent and you smoke weed yourself and your kid seems like the kind of kid that would want to try it, you should, you know, probably have an honest conversation with them and be like, if you want to do it, you should, like, you've heard about that where parents will say, hey, if you want to drink, drink here.
right.
You know, it's probably like having this safe environment where you're not going to get in trouble. Because that's another
Yeah.
thing that sucks is when you're young and you're smoking, you're like, oh, my parents going to find out. Oh, man, I don't want that.
Right.
You know, you feel guilty about it. You're like, am I shaming my family? There's those feelings sometimes as well.
Yeah. That was always the worst part, because I think the best time that I've ever had was a couple of years ago when the last season of Samurai Jack came out.
Yeah.
Me and my friends were so hyped for it.
Yeah.
And they were smoking all the time, and I was coming home from college, and we would, on Saturday nights, we would go to my friend's house that I just visited, and we would smoke
Yeah.
and get super high and order a pizza.
Nice.
and watch like a 30-minute episode of Samurai Jack, and it was the best summer of all time. It was so fucking cool.
Yes.
But then like the last couple episodes, we couldn't go to my friend's house anymore. So they had to come to my house, and we couldn't smoke, and it was just like, all right, this sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, those are my best some of my best memories of smoking with my friend when we were watching South Park.
Oh, really?
I think it must have been like season 8 or 9 or something. And we would smoke and we'd wait for it to come on. And like, it was back when you couldn't Netflix things or DVR things. You had to literally wait for it
right.
to come on.
That's what we did for Samurai Jack.
Like, there was so much fun. It was like, oh, we got to do it. We got to get like, we got to get to the optimum level of highness.
That's exactly what my friends were saying.
Exactly.
We have to get like to the level that we were last time.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'd always go right above it. It was like, oh no. And I'd be sitting there like behind them and being like, all right, I think I'm good. I think I'm all right. I'm not going to pass out. I hope.
Oh, man. Yeah. Have you ever passed out from it?
No, I've gotten close.
Yeah.
Yeah. The time in the forest, that was like the closest I've ever
you
come.
ever like an anxiety attack?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And that happens all the time when
really?
when I smoke. It's just like I get super in my head. And like,
oh, definitely.
It's like not even in my head, like brain area. It's like in my throat, like chest. It sucks. Like this last time I was eating and I was eating noodles and I was like, oh man, I really hope I don't throw up. And then that just like got stuck in my head and I was like, oh no, I'm going to vomit. I'm going to throw up.
It can really set your mind down those paths.
Yeah, it sucks. That happens all the time.
So yeah, there's this, I have a very, very weird view on weed. I love that it's going to be legal. I love a lot of things about it. But there's a lot of things that I don't love about it too.
Right.
It's very 50-50 for me.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot of danger in it. And you know what? It is fucking addictive. Yeah. I don't care what anybody fucking says. It is addictive. It is not definitively, but it can be a gateway drug if you're predisposed to addiction. If you have a family that you have some alcoholism or some other drug addictions. It can absolutely be the catalyst for you being like, oh, well, I tried the weed. Let me try the mushrooms and let me try the coke. Then let me, so it can be that. So it can be very addictive. And if you've ever met somebody that was like coming off of it after a long time, they're going to be a bitch for about a month or two. I'm serious. Yeah. I've seen it. I used to date this girl and she was heavy smoker. And I wasn't smoking at the time. I think I was maybe like 21 or something. And, the times where she couldn't get it or for whatever reason, it was awful to be around her. It was truly like fucking, she was like a pain to be around because she was so anxious. And then she would smoke and it was like, it's cool now.
That's weird.
Yeah. And because it does happen. There are withdrawals, people.
I mean, your brain gets used to it.
Yeah. And it makes you very irritable.
Yeah.
Very fucking irritable. And that would it would do the same. That was like one of the straws that broke the camel's back for me, like stopping being a regular smoker, was that I would smoke and then I would get like super bitchy for like a couple of days afterwards. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like feeling like this.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That's really strange.
Yeah.
I haven't had that experience because I've never had
good.
like a constant stream available to me,
Yeah. It's definitely, and another negative is that it's pretty pricey.
Yeah,
it's not super pricey, but if you're doing it all the time, it's gonna get expensive.
Yeah,
it's going to get expensive eventually.
Especially for the good stuff,
Yeah, and especially if you're, dabbling in the more exotic, these recent more exotic and innovative products that are offered now, like with the vaping and with the dabs and the various things of that nature.
Yeah,
it's just gonna get pricey.
Yeah,
so that's not a good thing.
No, I mean it depends. I think looking back on it, the way that I've always seen the reason why it's not already legal has been like, well, they can't tax it, but that's not at all what it is. It's definitely a race issue. It used to be a race issue. It still is a race issue. But at the same time, the government they don't have the infrastructure to set up like within a day or within a couple months, like the banking issue that you were talking about and all the different like tax forms that they have to fill out at that time.
It's going to be a whole thing, dude.
Yeah.
This is just this thing that's happening right now in the government to make it legal on a federal level is just the first step. There's got to be a lot of good work.
Oh yeah,
A lot of work that needs to be done, like you're saying, to figure out the ins and outs of the banking and the taxes.
yeah.
And I think it's going to, like, financially legalizing it is going to be a great thing for taxes.
Oh,
Certainly
definitely.
we're in such massive debt as a country that any little thing helps,
Yeah. Well, it's a whole different issue, but the taxes that we spend or that we pay out to the government are being used in a completely just bullshit way at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely. But I mean, it's going to help. It's going to help. I mean, maybe less. Maybe the taxes are going to help less in a federal sense because, like you said, they're going to misappropriate those funds no matter what.
Oh, yeah,
That's probably not
100%.
going to stop ever. But it's
all
probably
gonna
going to
go to
be
the
a good
military.
thing. Yeah, it's probably going to be a good thing, like on a statewide scale. It's going to be good when you see communities like Denver,
yeah.
and other communities that crop up when it becomes federally legal. Hopefully, you're going to see these enclaves, where they're going to reap the rewards of those tax dollars, and they're going to be able to spend it on things that are going to be good for the community and good for the public.
Oh, definitely.
So I think that's where you're going to really see those tax dollars be a good thing for a society.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Because they're taxing it big time
Yeah.
already there
Like
in Denver.
huge. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
But people are willing to pay it, man. It's much better to walk into a store than like, oh, hey, could you call your dude? Like 3 hours
Yeah.
later, the dude hasn't picked up. Could you call your other dude?
Yeah. It's
And then
so
you
much
got to go
better.
meet him in a fucking parking lot. You're like, dude, that's how it is.
Yeah.
But if you could just walk into a store like you're buying fucking Jack Daniels,
Yeah, exactly.
it's much better. It's
Yeah.
much more beneficial. And of course, kids are still going to wait outside and try to get people to buy it from them, and people are going to buy it from them. But that's just so much better than the alternative of turning people that just want to smoke some weed into fucking
Into criminals.
it's
Yeah.
not.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
You're throwing like a 17-year-old kid in jail because he
It's
had a
ridiculous.
joint on him.
It's
Like
ridiculous.
that's fucked up. And it's even more fucked up when, it's black kids that are being like focused on,
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Seriously?
It's just got to change. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna help a lot. I think it's progress. So I'm happy to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. We'll see what happens.
Yes.
These old fucks that are in the house.
They'll die soon.
They'll die soon, but they have control right now.
Yeah.
So
for the time in our lifetime, though, I have faith that it will become federally good.
yeah. If we last that long.
If we
We will.
Shameless dystopian future, my friend.
Not dystopian future. This is the future. But
Dude.
yeah, that's gonna be about it.
Yes.
Sounds like a good
Good spot to end.
podcast.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening to this weed-filled,
This weedcast.
this ganja cast.
This ganja cast.
Yeah.
This budcast, motherfucker.
We'll catch you next time on the next
Yes.
Lost in Phoenix. If you want to, we're gonna be talking about some Tarantino movies over on Working Title podcast. We're gonna do it during December, so we're gonna call it a Bloody Christmas.
Bloody Christmas.
Yeah.
Goddamn right.
Hell yeah! So go and check that out. Every week we'll be talking about 2 different Tarantino movies. We already did Once Upon a Time in
Yes.
Hollywood, so we're not talking about that one. If you want to hear our thoughts on that one, that was like the first episode we
That was the
uploaded.
first one we did. So
So
we're
go
doing the
check
wrong
that out.
order.
Yeah, we're doing the wrong order, but that was the newest one, so we'll do the other 8. So go check that out if you want to. Working Title Podcast. And this is Lost in Phoenix Podcast, and thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Goodbye.